up, everybody? It is November 5th, 2020. I'm Shane Rice. This is the Growth Marketing Recap Call. And we're going to kick it off and go right into metrics. So let me pause my music before we get another copyright hit on our Unfiltered channel. So going into metrics, let me just share my screen to go over where we're at right now. I know the suspense is killing everybody on this call. So looking at the metrics here. So when you look at users and page view growth, we're still positive for the year, but with, as we enter the holiday season, we're going to expect, the overall page view numbers to dip a little bit. So we're going to see some volatility here over the next few weeks. Strategic marketing buckets breakout is there. We are seeing some numbers start to tick back up in comparison, some other areas there. So encouraging numbers there. I want to get right into MQLs though. I mean, we are 4 whole days into the quarter. And so, like, as you see here, it's like 3.3% of the way through the quarter. But I'm really excited about the MQL numbers that we're seeing here. We're actually green. All of our pace right now is over 100%. I think the most encouraging thing here to see is, when we look at mid-market and SMB, we're far enough ahead of pace. If this continues, we'll be well positioned as we go into the holiday season and start to see some MQL dips related to that, so that when we come back into January, we won't have to make up a bunch of what we're missing in December. We may be making that making headway now, so as we enter the holidays, we won't be as far behind when we start back in January at the end of the quarter. So I see Danielle's adding a question here. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Danielle, do you want to verbalize your question?
Yeah, this is a total softball. When are we going to start talking about inquiries, which we know is our metric starting for next year in this call? When do you think we'll start to report?
So yeah, I think we'll start Sorry, you broke up a little bit. I thought you were done. So yeah, as far as when we'll start talking about inquiries on this call, I think we'll start talking about that probably in the next couple of weeks, maybe next week, depending on when we get some definitions set around what we'll be looking at as we enter into quarter one. And so we'll continue to report on MQLs, and we'll start to report on inquiries. It's kind of a bridge this quarter so we can have both those numbers to gauge our progress.
Thank you. By the way, I've added a questions section for this going forward, Shane, because I feel like it would be great for this to be more of a discussion. If anyone doesn't understand these metrics, don't worry, you're probably not the only person.
Yep, that makes sense. Oh, and there is one other thing I wanted to share since we're still talking about this. I did want to look at last week. We didn't really talk about where we ended the quarter. And so I think it's important to share, where we ended up there as well. And so you can see here for, the large attainment, we were just under 75%, 93% for mid-market, and then 85% for SMB. And I think the encouraging thing here too is you see that, this pace picked up as, we looked at the week over week change from last week's call as we ended the week. So this pace still picked up as we ended the quarter. So I think that's why we're seeing such strong numbers when we look at MQLs right now as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Shane. And just for everyone here who might be wondering, like, what are the consequences when we miss these numbers? No one gets in trouble, but I think there's a definite, strain potentially sometimes on our relationship with sales since they're downstream of this. The good news is our average deal size was significantly larger. So as far as the pipeline we committed to delivering through MQLs, we outperformed in all 3 buckets. So that's not really felt in sales, which is great. And, we're just going to try to do better next time. So we set these goals pretty high so that if we don't hit them all the way, we're still in a really healthy place. So it's not something that you need to be worried about. Sales is just had, I think, their best quarter ever. And we'll get the final numbers here in a couple days. So just so you understand how that all fits together. All right. Cool. Well, are there any other questions for Shane? All right, Luke, show and tell, take it away. Is Luke on the call? No. Just kidding. Steven, why don't you go ahead and show your first item? Also not on the call. Michael, do you
No,
want to do that
Steven,
for him?
Steven's there.
Oh, is he
I think
here?
I think he's just getting the mute button working or something.
Oh, there
Sorry.
you are. It's okay.
Sorry.
All you.
My item, just a second. I kind of got caught off guard a little bit. Apologies for the tardiness.
Oh, you're fine. You're
Sorry,
fine.
sorry always reminds me, I played on a beer league softball team, and we had a saying on our team, there's no sorries in softball, so no need.
No need.
But
No,
you were playing in Canada, so there's a ton of sorries in softball.
Well, I think that phrase was said a lot because we were a Canadian team.
there is also no softball in Ireland. Goes even one further for the so. Just a sec, I'm almost there. I'm sorry, Michael, just to confirm, I'm going to show the homepage here.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I have a big
I can
copy here. And
I can fire you the link, or the
No,
link's in the agenda.
I got it here. Can everybody see my screen?
I can, but what does it look like in the skinny mobile view, since we're gonna start training on mobile first reviews?
Let's see how Safari holds this.
Probably looks beautiful, would be my guess. Oh, it does.
Yeah, it works. Safari's getting better for all you people who hate Safari. I'm still a bit old school when it comes to this type of stuff. So
They also have responsive mode where you can switch between different devices and mobile operating systems built in if you enable the developer tools.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so this was a very quick sprint. We basically took the homepage as a test case and devised a very quick way of going about testing out a few ideas that we had when it came to existing design system assets, i.e. pajamas, in the realms of at least UI for the homepage website. Jess also, who's not on call, Jess had a quick run at some of the UX of the page, and Javi also had built this a little bit separate from the way that we would normally build it, just because of the dependencies that where the homepage pulls in a few different things. So we've taken that as our base case and sort of applied that, and then we're going to begin to refine this as we further on as we move. But we haven't really, reinvented the wheel, so to speak. But it's more of a reskin and a very quick UX update, in terms of what you see here. So yeah, there's nothing too groundbreaking, but as you can see, it's got the information that we've had there before. In 2 weeks, it would have been brave of us to really attack this homepage head on, as maybe some people would have probably expected, but that wasn't the purpose of this. As Michael has or hasn't said before, but yeah, there's some familiar aspects on this. Incremental changes is always a sort of better way to go about things rather than just big bang surprise. Contrary to popular belief, people don't love surprises. I've found in my experience, depending on the surprise. So yeah, we've taken in the existing content that's there and sort of reskinned it and refactored it. So nothing too drastic in terms of change, but for the time that we had to do this, it's quite a big change. So yeah. Any questions or comments? I'm sure there's feedback because Matt's on the call.
Yeah, I think it's great, just for more context too, on like the kind of product management-ish kind of front, is we just why did we set such an ambitious timeline? It was mainly just learn what is possible within that period of time. So by working and delivering, we're starting to learn, how we can more accurately predict how much time other pages will need. And one of our big takeaways from this first initiative was just the sheer amount of work that we have to do to actually do the work. And what I guess I mean by that is, it would be great if we lived in a world where it'd be like, okay, let's redesign the homepage, and we can do that. But redesigning the homepage is like, okay, let's make the homepage, let's fix everything and make all the code modular so we can actually start working on it. So I have a feeling that every page where we get after this quarter is going to be like that. But the good thing is because we're taking a systemized approach to this project, is we will never have to do that again. So it's kind of, I've been verbalizing a little bit like taking our medicine. Like we can keep kicking it down the road, but I think this quarter, if we don't take our medicine and you know, clean up our room a little here, it's just, we're just kicking it down the line. But yeah, really well done by Stephen, Javi, and Jess. Like that's like a week and a half, basically. Like we say a 2-week sprint, but basically half of the week is planning and organizing. So it's totally bonkers what y'all got done.
Hey, Michael, since you and I chatted about this a little bit, can you help maybe just share how this connects with our iterate value, or just like how we're going to continue to go forward with these?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for queuing that up. And the conversation we had on Slack helped me gain clarity too, because I wasn't entirely sure if we make the MR, get feedback, and then put it live. Because our approach now on the digital experience team is we're going to be doing releases every 2 weeks. We're going to have a kind of like results videos and retro videos that we'll share broadly. So it's an immovable date. So we'll figure out, it's probably going to be a Wednesday, and we're just going to work towards delivery. So this was like, hey, we're going to get something done. We're going to do a week's worth of work. We're going to re-meet and say, okay, our goal was here. Where did we get? Okay, well, let's tie it up and get it in a place that we can put it forward. So now this afternoon, we have our retro and next sprint planning, and we've decided we're going to spend another 2 weeks on the homepage to add a little bit more like of the flashy stuff, which is going to be, you know, more impactful. So yeah, it's just, we're continually iterating. We have a broad vision of the goal we want to do over Q4, and you know, I have an idea of where we should be in 3 quarters, and we're just trying to take a 2-week window to get 2-week chunks to get there. So the plan now for us to deliver this is we're going to reconnect this afternoon and just see if we can live afternoon, and then we'll collect feedback via MRs and address that in next sprints.
Sounds great.
So sorry to clarify, is it feedback after the fact or before?
Yeah, like it's feedback to inform the next sprint. Like one of the ways that I've been having a little bit of success communicating this is like, we have an opinion and we know what we're doing, and we're gonna have a better opinion and do a better job with a lot of input from others. But just like think of fashion. Matt, you're a fashionable guy. This will land with you. Like right now, clothing brands aren't designing for like spring, summer next year. They're designing for fall, winter the following year. Like you need to forecast way out there. So we want to have work that's done in that fashion. Like the work we're launching is for this sprint. The feedback we're getting is to pull in information to inform future work, rather than having to not deliver stuff and just sit around and try and be like, okay, what does everybody think? Great. And we're seeing a whole bunch of great improvements on the dev sites and our local builds, but our customers not feeling that. So we're always going to be putting out stuff knowing that we can, and it's okay to be embarrassed of it, because we know collectively we're getting feedback and are continuously every 2 weeks putting things live to make it better.
So I guess I didn't clarify. So like the growth marketing team, are we providing feedback after the fact as if the rest of the company was looking at it after it's live?
Yeah, anybody can.
No, not can, like an opportunity before the fact, rather than opening it up to the whole company after the fact. Like I totally get that mentality of opening it up to the rest of the company after, you know, because yeah, it'll never get done if you ask 1,300 people, what do you think? Yeah, so just mechanisms internally for growth marketing, at least feedback prior to launches. I'm just wondering if that was a consideration.
It was. I can't really think of a way to make that work, to have, because a 2-week sprint is incredibly aggressive to be doing the large amount of work that we have to do. So options, like what we're going to set up now on our team is like working session meetings that are weekly. So for this body of work, this falls into the design system OKR. So we haven't firmed up on the date, but in my head, it's like every Tuesday from 10 to 11:30, the working group, the people who are the like DRIs on this project, know they have an hour and a half, know it's collaborative time to work and solve these big problems together. We don't know exactly what we're going to do in each one of these, but we know we need to make this productive and a good use of time. So everyone prepares leading up into it, sets the agenda. If it's an hour and a half meeting, we only have 30 minutes, cool, great, go get it done. We're going to add you and anyone else who is interested as optional to attend, and you'll see these on your calendar. So if you have feedback or have an idea, please, anyone on this call, just jump in. Like, this is open co-creation time. So open invitation. That's how I'm hoping to address, I think, what you're trying to get answers. Is that work?
Yeah, I'm curious to see it in motion, and yeah, should be fine.
Great.
And I'm still looking for a place to put the feedback when I was asking for a few days. So I'm anxious to jump in.
At this point, I think for that feedback for a few days ago, from my understanding, what Danielle and I were talking is you would write MRs. Do you have more clarity on that, Danielle? Could you walk Matt through that?
Yeah, so one thing we try to do at GitLab in the handbook and in the product team, and I'd love to do here, is the feedback should be MRs for the improvements themselves. Or if you, like in my case, I probably can't code some of the improvements that I would want to make, but I would do my best to like comment the areas of the code where I'm thinking of, or write a really great description. But the idea would be like feedback should come in the form of starting an MR that could be collaborated on. And then we would work through those as a work in progress. And some MRs don't get merged and some do. So it might be that you start down that road and then you decide, okay, maybe we don't want to do this, but that would still be the best way to do it. And we're going to have to enable, there's probably people who will have feedback that we really want to take that can't necessarily like write the code. So we'll probably have to enable them somehow, but that would be the ideal path. We'll see how that goes with this team. It's a little different for the marketing website, so I don't know if we'll stick with that, but I think we should at least give it a try. It seems to work pretty well for the GitLab product.
Yeah, and I think like the whole point of this marketing design system, which we are calling Slippers, which is a hilarious name that took me a second to get around, but we've got pajamas, but our marketing just needs to be just a little bit fancier. So what feels better than putting on a nice pair of slippers after you got your pajamas on? Credit to Steven for that cleverness. So the idea is once we build this, we do have a design system, a set of tools that will enable people who don't have that ability to code at that level. So you'll be able to just copy and paste code snippets from the system we're building. So we're just asking for a little patience to let us help everybody get us all there at once. It's just a pretty big job.
Awesome. I'm going to ask if we can stop here just to make sure we leave a few more minutes, and whatever we don't get to in the agenda, we'll just do async. But next up is Niall.
Yeah, I just want to quickly just verbalize some of the work that was done this week. So I just included links in the comments here because some of it is competitive or strategic information, so I just didn't want to visualize it. But we completed a competitive landscape analysis for keywords against some prime competitors. Just going to expand that just to inform the competitive strategies that are either underway or rolling forward. And the second one was the content cluster research mapping. So this is for the DevOps and the DevOps platform strategies that's been rolled out in line with the content team. So if anyone wants to view it or any feedback, you can just please follow the links and you can see what's included. And I'll just pass it on to Lauren.
Woo! Okay, okay, I'm next. Let me share my screen. Okay, I just wanted to share real quick as I added this fancy logo banner. Vic's been doing these great icons. And so when you scroll down, they pop up with some of the animation that we also have on the features page. So that was really cool. Just pulling in stuff we have elsewhere on the site.
That was the first I saw that little video animation when you shared that link of the two people coding beside each other. I love that so much. I love that energy.
Yeah.
We need more of that on the homepage. So more, please. Vic, did you make that?
I think that was before I got here, but I can refresh that definitely.
Yeah, let's
animate everything. I want to animate all the things if I can.
Cool. I'd love for you to get with Stephen, Javi, and Jess on this next iteration, because I don't know, I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, these exist? Awesome.
Yeah, whenever I visit a web page and there's animation, it always makes me happy. And I'll pass it on to Shane.
Thanks, Lauren. So Becky and I are working on the website refresh stats, and I just want to share, we made this really quick dashboard to kind of share what we're seeing there as far as page views and how many people are entering the site on the pages that we've refreshed, CTA events, forum events, all that. And so Becky's going to be doing a more in-depth video, but I just wanted to share this really kind of first iteration on this dashboard for the website refresh as we look at how those pages are performing. So, and with that, I'll pass it over to Erica for shout outs. Oh, Erica, she's not on the call. Oh, no, you're on the call.
I'm on the call. Okay. And yeah, on to the shout out section. And it looks like Matt has the first item.
Yep, I want to thank Luke, Monica, and Vic. We had our brand offsite this week, and it was great to hear what everybody honestly thinks about everything, for better or worse, because we need to know everything before we can make anything better. And it really opened our eyes to, if the four of us have these many opinions on everything, imagine what the other 1,296 people think. So we're anxious to start talking to all departments and gathering feedback in order to know where we're headed with the brand next. So thanks for sticking with it for 2 days. It was great. And we also destroyed the escape room.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that. Just like Sam, it was really good. And this is why I don't usually do calls when Charlie's here. Yeah, it was really good, and everyone was like super into it and energetic about it. It was really nice. So thanks a bunch.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of our agenda. So thanks everyone for a great week, and I'll see you on the marketing strategy and tactics call in just a minute here. Bye.